Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. From any country you are joining in from, my name is Prophetess Yvonne from Johannesburg, South Africa. I'm here with my little sister, Miss Carol Ngozi Ezeji from London, United Kingdom. She's a lecturer of chemistry, and she is one of the women, virtuous women that are impacting this society in this our generation. I would like her to introduce herself and give and tell us her story, how she got to this point, and how she's impacting other women and youngsters. So, sis, take over, introduce yourself, and tell us your
Okay,
story.
well, you've already said everything on my behalf, so I'll just continue where you stopped. Well, like everyone's been told, I'm Carol, and I teach chemistry in a college at the moment in London. Um, it's been a long journey getting where I am at the moment. I was working with the Home Office, and afterwards, I decided, well, while still working with Home Office, I decided to re-enroll and continue my education in the UK because I didn't finish in university in Nigeria. I was in Futo, Federal University of Technology over it, before I came over. So I had to continue my education. I started in 2006, back to university, and I started with pharmacology. And the second year, I had to add forensic science onto it because I found that fascinating. So during that time, I had three children. I was working part-time job, and then with the education and so on. So it was really challenging. The only, I mean, as a mother of very young children, then my only relief and grace was that I had childminders who were looking after my children when I'm either going to work or going to university. Even at that time, when I come home, I'll have to put everything down and face the children and do what I have to do as mommy. But when they go to bed, I'll have to, make sure that I catch up with whatever I've done in uni, all my assignments, all the coursework. I have to do them. Sometimes I'm awake until 3 a.m., just to make sure that I do not let the ball fall in any aspect of my life. So during that time, I got pregnant. I was I was married as well. I got pregnant. I had my fourth baby, but she was premature. So I took 2 years off from uni, which you can do if you are in the UK and you are already in university. So after 2 years, I had to go back to university and completed my education. And right after that, I enrolled on postgraduate diploma in education and finished. It's only for 1 year, and I finished in 2013. And since 2013, I've been uh, I've been a lecturer. I did supply teaching before I became permanent in 2016, and I've been teaching 16 to 19-year-olds since then. So that's my journey so far. It has been, challenging in terms of how I juggled it. Not everyone would do it, but everyone can actually. I don't know how people face their own fears or their own challenges, but sometimes I'm somebody who I just roll with the punches. Whatever happens, happens. I would rather attempt that not, that regret not even attempting at all. So that's the kind of person I am. And if I can do it, anyone can. Absolutely. So, sis, is there any other thing else that you want to know? Sis, is there anything else you want to know?
Um, the same question I asked before, juggling between teaching teenagers and being a mom with your own teenagers as well. Is that how do you will I say how do you cope with it, and is being a mom helping you to be a teacher, and is being a teacher helping you also to be a mom at home? So I
Okay,
want
I
to.
mean, there are loads of similarities between my children and the students I teach. Sometimes my students look at me as mommy. There have been times when I've been called auntie in classroom or even mom, and then they remember who I am and they say, "Oh, sorry, miss." You know, so even so, there have been times when my kids calls me miss, and then, "Oh, sorry, mom." So there are not just that little similarity, but in terms of behavior and how they see the world. I used my kids to understand my students, and I used my students to understand my kids. And one thing with children is if you act like you're too big, you're above them, they will press every button to get at you, to make you, blow your fuse. So I am one of them as far as I'm concerned, and they see me as one of them. I still have that line and boundary where if someone steps out of line, I straighten them out. But I do not act like I'm above, I'm above them. So when you act like you're one of them, understand them, listen to them. One thing with kids is if you don't listen to them, they feel misunderstood. And I've been a kid before, and I know how it felt. And sometimes I put myself in their shoes, like me as a teenager, how would I have seen this? And that's how I kind of understand them. When you listen to them, you see that those children have been misunderstood. There have been times when I've had students who act up in other people's classes. When they come to my class, and I use the same technique I use with others, and I found that that child has been misunderstood. So all we have to do as adults on our own part, not just me as a teacher, is to be able to sit down with our children and listen to them. Don't be judgmental. Give them support. Sometimes you let them make mistakes so that they learn from mistakes. We can't chain them or be mommy dearest when they they must do what you want them to do. Sometimes you gotta let them make the mistakes, but it has to be from a certain age. So I have had students, who misbehave in class. There are good ones as well, and all of them turn out very well. They come out with, some of them. The most challenging student I have at the end of the whole course, she was the one bringing box of chocolate and bunch of flowers, and she was heading to pharmacy, to university to do pharmacy. So it's patience that I've always used, patience and understanding of where the kids are coming from. And when you do that, you understand that children really, they have a lot to deal with in this world they're trying to navigate. And sometimes adults, feel that, from 16 to 19-year-olds, you want them to act like adults at the same time. You want them to act like kids. So we have to kind of find a balance somewhere in order for all of us, the adults and the younger generation, to coexist. So I use the mindset of friend as well as teacher in my classroom, and also in my own family, my children. I come as friend as well as mom. They know when not to cross the line. They know if I look at them somehow, they know what that stare means, because I've already done the background work for them to understand what a particular look I'm giving them is all about. My students the same way. They know when I say daggers, what it means, and what behave yourself looks like, when it's coming from me, if I don't have to speak. So yeah, it is quite challenging because teenagers have hormones that is all over the place. So sometimes you have to deal with it, but you have to deal with it with patience. Patience is the main, technique that you have to apply. Patience as well as understanding. So that is how I've lasted in this job for a while. It is rewarding. It's a thankless job, teaching, it is absolutely rewarding. And one thing about teaching is, is a particular hat. For every teacher, we wear many hats. I'm wearing mommy hat. I'm wearing social worker hat. I'm wearing therapist hat. I'm wearing nurse's hat, because sometimes you have to give them advice on one particular thing they're going through. Sometimes in my class, my students, the kind of questions they'll ask, you think I'm a general practitioner, like I'm their family doctor. Yeah, because of the kind of things they will ask. Sometimes we break into talking about Netflix show, or you gotta act like you are one of them. We talk about football with the boys in my classroom, and so on. So they do. Some of them even talk, tell me, "Oh, this is what my boyfriend did. This is what my girlfriend did. What can I buy my boyfriend and my girlfriend?" And that's how close I am with them. And I think parents should actually apply something similar, because what you want is to be your child's confidence, because you don't want your child to get influenced by outsiders, and you don't want them to tell their secrets to outsiders, but don't tell them to you. A lot of parents are doing that. There's this typical Nigerian mom image that has been going around for a while, and I don't see myself in that caricature of Nigerian moms or African moms. I don't fit into that mood at all. I'm somebody who actually sits down, listens to the kids. I do have my moments when I lose my rag and shout, but it's not often, because I know where they're coming from. So that's I'm not perfect, but at the same time, I try to improve myself in how I understand other human beings, because being a teacher is not easy. You can't just be a teacher in the classroom. It follows you everywhere. It becomes second nature. Sometimes I know how many times I've gone online and people have done something that I'm holding myself back from correcting them, because of the teacher in me is trying to burst out to correct them, but I have to hold myself. So being a teacher, it comes everywhere. But at the same time, I'm also somebody who, I am a very down-to-earth person who tries to understand people, no matter their age or or religion or background or wherever they came from. So I'm that kind of person. So I don't know. Other people can call me woman of virtue. I'm just a human being trying to human. Yeah, because this world we are in, is very difficult. You understand what I mean? So if you can make it easier for somebody else, like my students, there have been a time where they miss a deadline, and then you understand it's a very stressful life. Why do you want to be strict too much? Lose it up a bit, so that life will be easier for somebody. Yeah, at that point in time, I use my discretion and and let them off, which is how life is supposed to be. We can't be uptight all the time. So because of that, children see me as laid back, and that's why I get on with them very well. So that has been my teaching life in a nutshell, basically.
Okay. We have so many young mothers that are in school right now, studying to become somebody in the society. Do you have any advice for them? And excuse me, sis, we have other ones. They have this dream, but this dream that they're not trying to manifest it. They feel like they need encouragement. Some of them they are thinking that they need a man by their side for them to achieve their heart desire, their dreams. So you achieved it single-handedly, and still you manage your children. So I want you to give advice to such ladies. Those ones is either they are not, they are single mothers struggling, and they want to go back to school, but they can't because they think they only need a man to support them before they go back to school. Some are there already, and they're struggling. I want you to give them advice.
I mean, how would I say? You just have to look at your situation. If you assess your situation and see that if you want to go into doing that dream that you want to chase, or you're already in that situation where you're already chasing the dream. Yeah, if you are in a situation where you've got children on one hand and you've got your dream on the other hand, you gotta make sure that while you're chasing your dream, the children will not suffer. Because I centered my kids around me going into my career. Because if my career, if my children suffered, I would have dropped everything and focused until they have grown up to a certain age. Then I go back, and that's the reason why I took that 2 years off when I had a premature baby, who's in an incubator. I had to take 2 years off because at the same time, your mental health is important because it factors into it. There are people who try to juggle a lot and then they end up losing it, and they drop everything. Everything just, goes berserk. So you got to make sure that one aspect of your life or the most important aspect does not suffer. I'm not going to go into, giving advice on somebody who thinks they would, they need a man to survive. What you do is make sure that how I guided myself is, even though I was married then, I made sure that you have to factor in, what if the husband or the man is not around, he's traveled somewhere? How are you going to cope in the meantime? So if you can cope temporarily without the man being there and everything is fine, you can cope with them not being there for a long time and still meet the dream that you want to do. Just make sure that nothing else is suffering in the meantime. The most important is making sure your kids are all right. And that's where child minding comes in. You have to find a babysitter and it has to be trusted. And me, I use somebody who's registered so that if anything happens to my children, I'll be able to take them to court. Most moms, what they do, they find somebody cheaper who's not registered. And I'm talking about this based on me coming from the UK, where the child minders will have to be registered, so that if you have any complaints, you have a particular body you have to go to complain to. So I used registered child minders, and those people have to behave themselves because they know that if anything happens to my children, the government will hold them accountable. So those are the trusted people that you have to use while you're doing whatever you do, so that you have rest of mind if you're going to chase your dream while your children are in the care of somebody else. So that's basically how, the kind of thing I'm going to do. Don't let one suffer. If chasing your dream is going to cost you your children's welfare, you can put it on the shelf for temporarily until they get to an age where they are independent. Then you go back and continue. It's just that simple. If you feel that without, not having a male partner in your life, that you will not chase your dream and juggle motherhood at the same time, what you need to do is have the mentality of, let's say that you have a man, but they travel, their business man that travels out. How would you deal with having a man who travels out all the time? You still deal with your life the same way you will do if you don't have a man, because you're not going to factor the man into child care. So you have to make sure that you yourself stand on your own 2 feet. You're independent of the man, or in spite of the man being there. It's nice to have a life partner. I enjoy them, but at the same time, you have to face reality, knowing that not all the time that you as a human being can depend on somebody else in order to get your life going to the direction you want it to go. So you have to make sure that if any aspect of your life is removed, that whatever you are juggling does not fall apart. That's basically what I'm going to tell them. Okay. I don't know if I'm making sense. I think I'm waffling on now, but
No, you're making too much sense. For anybody that wants to believe the truth, because this show is about the truth, telling people, because some people don't like to hear the truth. So that's why this show, I'll bring women that are ready to tell you how it is. It is not left for you. If you want to do, you just do you, and and live what is right. Then we know who is going to suffer at the end. So now I want you to talk to teenagers that are now they are still coming up. They are trying to decide what they want to be in future, and the ones that are that have started their courses already. I want you to, as a mom and as a teacher, to encourage them. They're still, waiting and trying to decide what they want to be. Those who are in the university or in the college already, I want you to encourage them and speak as a mom and as a teacher.
Okay. Now, what I tell my students is, it's okay not to know what you want to do when you're starting the college early. So initially, when you're getting into the college, it's okay not to know what to do. Everybody's different. Some people knew that they're going to be doctors from age 5, and then they achieve it. Some people said they're going to be doctors, but then they end up being something else down the road because they've seen something better and they change their minds. So my students, by second year, by then, when you have tested different parts of the courses, you would have been making up your mind on what you really want to do in university, or whether, if you don't want to go to university, if you can do apprenticeship. So apprenticeship is another good one, where you get to work at the same time. Your employer will train you in university. Or you want to go and just work and then take a time off from education and come back. So you have to make sure that whatever decision that you're making, that you're not making it because mom and dad are pressuring you into it, because that's the mistake most of us from all these African countries do. Even while the child is in the womb, we start saying, oh, this one is going to be a doctor, this one is going to be a lawyer. When they come out, you put them through that, you stress your kids out. They end up with depression. You see a young person battling depression because they're under pressure from their own parents. Their parents are under pressure from society. So you have to make sure that you, as a kid, listen to yourself. Don't get influenced in a bad way. Make sure that even if you don't know what you want at that time, that you take your time to figure it out, instead of jumping to trying to impress someone or keep up with a particular trend. It's just like I've seen some students in university who, after they finished, they started, they just want to complete the course for 3 years and jump out. And then you see somebody, let's say for the course is 4 years, or the other, there's a 3-year option of it. You see somebody jump from a 4-year option to a 3-year option because they want to finish early. But the person doing the 4-year course has a sandwich in between where you have to do work experience. When you two come out of university, the person that will be employed very quickly will be the one that did the sandwich, because they have experience. Now, the person who finished 3 years, sometimes somebody will be looking for a job 5 years, 7 years down the line, they haven't found it. But somebody who didn't go to university have got a job because experience. Most employers now, they're not just looking for certificate, they're looking for skills that go with it. So if you have a skill as well as certificate, it's a bonus for an employer. But when you have a certificate and there's no skill, then you are going to do a lot of application for a very long time for you to be chosen, because everybody wants experience. So all I'm saying to kids is okay not to know what you want to do initially, but as time goes on, try and find out the niche that you fit into, and then you'll be able to achieve whatever you want to achieve down the line. You can start off as something else and end up as something else entirely, so long as it is, it is good with your mental well-being, then we are fine. Don't be under pressure. That's all I'm saying. And then while I'm saying this, I want parents to listen as well. We can't be pressuring our kids like that. That's too much. I have my kids here. I mean, there has been a time where, out of ignorance, I nearly pressured my daughter, but she had to do what she had to do. So what I do, I leave them to choose what they want to do. All I have to do is support them. If they fail in that particular venture that they've gone into, make sure that you are there to give them a shoulder to cry on. We are, as parents, are there to, be our children's buffer, their cushion, when the world disappoints them. Let us not add to their own worries. Let's not join the world to add to their own woes, and then they wouldn't know who to run to. That's when you see kids now going into something else and joining, you know, bad groups, and get influenced by you know, some elements in the site you don't even want them to communicate with. So I don't, you know, that's the advice I'm giving to kids at the moment. I tell my students as well. You know, some of them, when we start our second year, they have to fill out something called UCAS application. It's a, you know, it's something you have to fill out before you go to university. Some of them initially they haven't got a clue what they want, you know, which course they have to choose or university they have to go to. I tell them to take their time, go to open days. Universities have open days. Go to open days. Find out what the university offers, their facilities, the distance from where you want to go to, from where you live to where university is, whether you want to live in a student accommodation, and so on. So things like that get you informed before you start making your application, or you know, whether you want to continue with application form for university or you want to go into apprenticeship. So you know, those are some universities, they do fairs as well. I'm sure, you know, in other countries they'll do the same. Once there's university fair, go into university fairs, find out, ask questions. You know, while you're going to college, find a part-time job. That will also help you. It structures you. You know, knowing that you have that employability skill, you know, for somebody else to employ you at the end of your course. So that's about it, really, to be honest. I'm sure I have more, but right now, you know, I'm like a deer in the headlight. So whatever pops out in my head is what I say. So sis, you there? There's a bit of a lag from your end. Since I finished my advice, is there any other thing you want to find out? Is it my network that's doing this or something else? I can't hear her anymore. I can't even see her now. Huh? Wi-Fi is really bad. Oh no, I'm using my data. I'm not using Wi-Fi. I don't trust the Wi-Fi here. Hello. Guys, you need to go and get ready. It's after 4. We're leaving 4:30. Come on. I don't want to be late. It's 4:14 right now. Cora. I'm literally just putting my phone.
Hello?
What happened?
The network.
Anyway, make sure you edit this. So yeah, I've answered the question. I hope you recorded this time around.
Yeah. So now please the last but not the least is I want to ask like some students that You know, there are students that are overseas. Like you are, let's say you came all the way from Nigeria to the UK. I want you to advise those ones that comes overseas to study. I want you to encourage them because sometimes some of them they miss home, and some of them they sometimes they miss their tracks and they enter into something that will ruin their lives in the future. So I want you to encourage such students also before we go.
I mean, for students who are foreigners
Yeah.
in overseas universities in the diaspora, they face many challenges. Number one, you're trying to integrate into the society that you migrated to. You want people to accept you. You have a different accent, and you have a lot of insecurities because of it and where you're coming from. All you need to do is be yourself. Let me tell you one thing: the people that you came to their country, they want to see something different. They do not want you to sound like them. Sometimes they find you interesting
It's
when you are
true.
actually different from them. And also, some of the best students I've had, in my teaching career have been foreign students. Most of them are from Ghana, Pakistan, Nigeria. They are the ones who are scoring very high in most of my subjects. Even in English, actually, students from Commonwealth countries in UK are actually doing better in English language than the ones born here. Because the ones born here, they will write it the way they speak it, and some of them speak street slangs. But most of my foreign students who are in the UK are actually down to earth, here to do the business. They have part-time job on the side, and they just get on with it. The ones who get carried away are the ones who end up getting influenced by groups that are not worthy to be spent time with, or they've seen more money coming in from employment. They forgot about school. So that's what's going on. All they need to do is focus on what you came for. Do the job you're supposed to do, because at the end of it, not only are you gaining a qualification that will propel you to a particular career you want on a higher level, you are also trying to make yourself worthy of gaining a permanent stay in the country that you move to. I mean, the UK government at the moment, they are, because of Brexit, they're fishing for people who want to come here and study and stay permanently. So this is where foreign students have to take advantage of. Because if you come here and you leave the course that you came for and you start doing petty jobs, the chances of you getting deported back to your country is very high, because they will want somebody who's highly skilled. And to be highly skilled, you have to have qualification behind it. So if you've come to study in a university or college, just make sure you complete your qualification before you do anything else. Don't ever falter. Do not come here and start copying the negative aspects of the children your age who live here. By all means, make friends. You have to integrate. You cannot shut yourself out, and not just go make friends who are from your country, or people who speak your language, or people who look like you. Make your circle multinational. Don't just look for a particular race. It has to be everybody, include everybody, because not only does it help you in communicating with people, it reaches your soul as well. Education is not just academic. Knowing other people's culture is also academic. Is also education. So those are, that is the way to just live your life openly, but make sure that you do not follow, the crowd that is always looking for something to post on social media for some reason. So what you have to do, like my principal in secondary school, she always tells us, don't leave the substance chasing the shadows. Okay, so you gotta make sure that whatever you came here for, that you complete it, then have a job on the side, because at the end of that qualification, you are actually going to be in a better position in your life than you started with. So that would be my advice.
Okay. So now, you know, in the beginning you said that you don't see yourself as a woman of virtue, but I'm telling you now that you are one.
Okay, thank you.
And by the end of this, I want you to call yourself a woman of virtue. I want you to say, I am a woman of virtue.
I
Because
mean,
that's what,
if
no,
what?
no, listen. See, this is what this show is all about. But right now,
Okay.
today is your birthday, and I have somebody there that wants to present something on behalf of anointed daughter of Elohim radio and television, and they will present it to you. And before that, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Call Michelle. Call Michelle. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you.
Thank you,
Dance for
sis.
me now. Please, never move your body. It's your day.
Thank you.
Where's Michelle?
Oh, she's not in the position of being in the camera at the moment.
Yes, I want her to present something to you.
Oh, she's going to present something to me.
Yes.
What are you presenting to me? Your aunt said you're presenting something to me. Oh, she's coming. She's coming.
Anointed daughter of Elohim, radio and TV. You are one of our women of virtue, and we are presenting that to you. It's a birthday gift, and it's also to tell you thank you for impacting our youngsters and for doing what you're doing for the society. Where's Misha? Misha, can you present that to your mom?
She's coming. So you've been plotting something with my daughter behind me. Hey, sis. No way. What the hell? What is this?
Yeah, open it.
Oh my God. What is this? What is this? I'm rich.
Thank you, Michelle. Thank you, Michelle, for being
I just say thank you.
a good crew member. I love you, my baby.
Oh, sis, thank you. You made my day. Oh, thank you. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, read it. Read what is
I'm drowning. Okay, let me read it. Let me read it. Oh, hang on a minute. I'm drowning in gifts, so. Bloody hell, hang on. Okay, it says, well, the guy says to mom, have a fabulous day, and we hope 45 is your lucky year. Love, Zigora, Osi, Adeze, Adikenna. Is there another one? Yeah. Hope your birthday really sparkles. How do you know I like sparkles?
For that reason, Misha, I say something on behalf of this radio station.
So what's it say something?
On behalf
She's
of
not.
I want her voice. I don't need her voice. I need her voice.
She's going to the toilet.
She's running away. Okay, please open your gift. I say happy birthday.
Oh, thank you. Just look at it.
Wow.
Oh my God.
What's in there? I want to see what's in there.
I am rich.
Open it. Let's see what's inside.
Open. Oh, okay.
What's inside?
So who gave me this one? Ah, Osi, my businessman. My business son.
I want the one from
Oh, the one from. Okay. Which one is from Auntie? From you and her. Okay. Now how do I do this? Hold on a minute. I need to station this camera properly.
Because we need to see.
Ah, okay. Hey.
Wow.
Let me drown in coffee.
Yeah.
This would be nice for the office, you know. Well, for
Because
home.
for the office is for your kitchen.
My owners have told me it's for kitchen. They will use it more than me. Hold on, one more.
Hope you love it.
One more.
And that one is for who? Oh, okay.
Not only did you give me the mother, you gave me the children.
Yes. Wow.
Thank you.
So
Thank
now
you
I want
so
you,
much.
yes, I want you to now, admit by confessing that you are a woman of virtue. And that's the end of the show.
From my humble self.
Yes.
If what I'm doing is virtuous, then I am a woman of virtue. Thank you.
You are, sis, you are. And I love you.
Oh,
From
thank
me
you.
to you, from my radio station to you.
And I catch it. Mwah.
Mwah.
Thank you.
Michelle, thank you for keeping the secret. I love you.
She said that she loves you.
Michelle.
She said love you too.
Okay. So, that is
Yeah.
it. I love you. Happy
Love you
birthday.
too.
Go
Thank you.
enjoy and spoil yourself silly somewhere in London there.
I'll try to drink responsibly.
Yes. May the Creator continue to protect and empower you to do more for the society. And I know sometime in the future, your students will come one day to surprise you because you're
Oh,
doing
that
a
would be
good job.
nice.
I'm proud to be your sister and your senior
Oh,
sister for that matter.
same here.
And I
Same
know
here.
wherever our parents are in heaven right now, they are proud of you. Thank you so much for coming to the show.
Oh, thank you, sis. Love you.
Love you too.
Bye.
Bye.